Hello everyone. Welcome to the video for Wikipedia Lab 2, Citing a Source in Wikipedia. In our most recent units, we've been discussing citation. As we've discussed, citation forms a crucial part of the creation and sharing of information. Through citation, we not only provide credit to the individuals whose work influenced and contributed to our own, but we also provide the reader with a link to the sources of the ideas we're sharing in order to allow them to better understand a subject or review the source material to draw their own conclusions. Now, for an information source like Wikipedia, which is the product of the work of thousands of mostly anonymous workers who have the ability to continuously change the information being displayed, citation is particularly important. Being able to back up a factual claim with evidence enhances an article, increasing its quality and credibility, and overall making it a more useful information source. While you've been learning academic citation styles previously, in this lab you will be learning Wikipedia's unique citation style, and will use it to attach sources to a dummy text in your sandbox. This lab will help prepare you to attach sources to the additions you will make to your article stub for your final project. Alright, so as in the previous lab, you're probably going to want to open a couple of tabs on your browser to do this assignment. To begin with, in your first tab, log into Blackboard and access the Wikipedia Lab 2 activity, which is where we are right now. In this activity, you're going to see 5 hyperlinks. One will take you to the dummy text for this assignment in a Google Doc. In this case, the document in question is text taken from the Wikipedia article of a man called Jerry Voorhees. Mr. Voorhees' family helped founded the school that was eventually absorbed by the California State University system and became Cal Poly Pomona. He's also noteworthy as a local congressman who eventually lost his seat in an election to a guy named Richard Nixon. Open the Google Doc in a tab and copy the text. Okay. The other 4 links, labeled as Article Number 1, Article Number 2, Article Number 3, and Article Number 4, are 4 newspaper articles that can be used as sources to back up information in the dummy text. So you can see here we have different newspaper articles about the life and times of Mr. Voorhees. And you can use them to back up some of the claims in the text. In general, you can open these articles in other tabs, but you can leave them alone for the moment. You don't need them right away. Now, in another open tab, and yes, that should make 7 total, folks, you're going to log into Wikipedia and go to your sandbox. Okay? Log into Wikipedia, go to your sandbox. Once in your sandbox, you're going to want to hit the Edit tab so that you can edit what's in your sandbox and delete out the text from your previous lab so you can paste in the dummy text from your new lab from the Google Doc. So as you can see, my sandbox is already empty. I don't have anything in it. So having copied the text from the Google Doc, I can now paste it into the sandbox. Okay. So that's your first thing you need to do. As soon as you've pasted the dummy text into the sandbox, you don't need the Google Doc anymore, so you can close at least one of those 10 million tabs that you now have open. Okay, now you're going to need to do some reading. So first, read the dummy text. Get familiar with the facts it contains. Next, read the newspaper articles that you've got open in the other tabs. You're going to have to make some decisions here. You're going to have to decide which facts in the dummy text refer to events in the articles you've read. Pick at least 3 examples from the dummy text, and these 3 examples should reference at least 3 of the 4 articles provided. Take a minute to do this before moving on to the rest of this video. Alright, so have you taken the time to check out the articles and decide what you're going to cite? Awesome. So now let me demonstrate how you're going to cite it. In your sandbox, you click on the end of the sentence you want to cite. So let's pick this one down here at the end, talking about Mr. Voorhees' death, for instance. I'm going to click on the end of that sentence right there. And now up on your editor menu, you're going to click on the Cite button right here. Now this is going to open a menu. You want to select the Manual option from the Manual tab right here. and then select the News option right here. All right, so when you click on the News button, it's going to give you access to this form, which you're going to fill out some fields here to provide the information for the citation you're going to do, and it will automatically generate it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Give me just a sec. Okay, so what I've done here is I've added the information into the fields for this particular citation. The last name of the reporter in question is Thackeray. His first name is Ted Jr. For a couple of the articles, you don't actually have an author for the article, you have a pseudonym, and that pseudonym will be the Watchman. If you need to cite those, don't bother with the first name, just in the last name field type in the Watchman, okay? But in this case, this is not that guy's name, we're just going to go with Thackeray because that's his last name. So, author's last name, Thackeray, he's Ted Thackeray Jr., so Ted, Jr. Source date. This is the date in which the article was published. Wikipedia wants you to do date formatted as day, month, year. So in this case, 12. We use the 3-letter abbreviation for September, SEP, and then the 4-digit format for the year, 1984. The source title is the title of the article. In this case, ex-rep Jerry Voorhees dies, lost to Nixon. The name of the publication for all of these articles will be the Los Angeles Times. The URL for this article is going to be the URL that you find where you accessed the article. So if we tab over to the article itself, which you see right here, this is the URL right here. You would select it, you would copy it, and then you would paste it here. Now, one thing about this, because you've accessed this through the library's proxy, it's a proxy URL, and Wikipedia will pop up an error if you leave it as a proxy URL. But it's very easy to get rid of the proxy, because you'll notice in the URL itself, there is the word proxy. All you need to do is highlight it, delete it, and get rid of the extra dot there, and it's gone. And at that point, Wikipedia will not freak out if you have it in there. Okay, your URL status is set as a default to live, leave it alone. And the URL access date is going to be the date that you accessed that particular article. So in this case, I made this video on July 6th, 2020, so 6JUL 2020. Once you're done, click the Insert button, and you'll notice that it has created a footnote there at the end of your sentence. Now, once you've done this, what you're going to want to do once you've put in your citations is to also create a references list. The way you do this is you go to the bottom of your page, okay? I'll hit enter once, so I'm on the bottom line, and I'm going to go up here to my editing menu under paragraph, and I'm going to switch it to heading. What that does is it's going to give the large font format for a new section, and I'm going to type in references, and I'm going to hit enter to give myself a new line. Now what I'm going to do is go back up to the menu to Insert, and I'm going to select More, and then I scroll down to the option for References List and click on it. Once I do that, you'll see it immediately creates a bibliography pulling from all the citations I've created. Once you have a references list, you click on Publish Changes. You're going to want to quickly describe what you changed, so I added a citation, and I'm going to click Publish Changes. It may ask you for a CAPTCHA. That's Wikipedia trying to be careful here, so type in what it tells you to, and click Publish Changes. At this point, you'll be told your edit was published. Awesome. At this point, what you're going to do is you're going to copy the URL for your sandbox, and you will go back to Blackboard and paste it into Wikipedia Lab 2. So just to recap, what you will be submitting in Blackboard will only be the URL for your sandbox. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on Lab Day for review.